The Dodgers have been the comeback kings in 2025, and they pulled out yet another one to stun the Cincinnati Reds. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome into MLB Game Night, every game, every night. I am one of your hosts, JD Hafron, host of Locked On Cardinals. Joining me tonight, Jon Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. He is a fantastic dancer. Make sure you ask him about that as well and what his go-to move is at the club because it is good. Coming up on today's show, speaking of good, Cubs and Brewers, they go toe-to-toe again with an unlikely hero rising from the ashes. We have another injury for Brave star Ronald Acuña Jr. Been a rough year for him. And the Padres were hosting the Mets, and Juan Soto had to leave that game early. So we'll tell you all about those things. Today's show being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, so we're going to start in the Queen City. Cincinnati hosting the Dodgers. Dodgers were able to take game one against the Reds on Monday behind a very strong outing from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Could Cincinnati even up this series in game two? It was a thick night in Cincinnati, very hot. We've got Harry Ruiz of Locked On Dodgers on how game two went down.
Dodgers bullpen was lights out Tuesday night in Cincinnati. Despite the relievers being on the mound for 5 innings, they didn't allow a single run. The game was kept within striking distance, and the bats delivered with 2 runs in the 7th inning to tie it, and then the go-ahead run being scored in the 9th with a Will Smith RBI single. The Dodgers, they've now won the series in Cincinnati, but tomorrow, on Wednesday, they have the opportunity to get their first sweep since their first series in the month of July. Let's see if they close the month the same way they opened it. They opened it with a sweep against the White Sox. Now let's close it with a sweep against the Reds. Tomorrow on Locked On Dodgers, Travis Rogers and I will talk all about this game. So tune in. We'll see you there.
Now on the Dodgers side of things, Tyler Glasnow kind of had a rough start in this one for LA. He lasted just 4 innings, 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 home runs, 5 walks, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers were still able to win, which is a big yikes considering, most teams are going to lose when their starting pitcher performs that way. Then on the other side of things for the Reds got a nice start from Nick Lodolo. He goes 5 1/3, 2 runs, 6 hits. He punches out 11 in this one, and they lose. It's just that's the way baseball is sometimes, right?
And Ohtani K'd 4 times in a row in this one, too.
Yeah.
So he wore the golden sombrero. They still got it done, JD.
Yeah, he was a non-factor in this one. Reds end up falling to 3 games back in the NL wild card. They're 8.5 back in the division, while the Dodgers maintain their 4-game lead over San Diego. Shohei is going to be on the mound tomorrow night as they go for that sweep. Just a tough loss for the Reds, though, whose bullpen gives up that 4-2 lead that they had built. John, the Reds, they keep talking about we want Eugenio Suarez back,
right,
and there's going to be a lot of competition for him. But, everybody's going to want this guy. And, yeah, another bat would be nice in their lineup. But if they don't, I wonder what the Reds' fallback options are if they fall short there. Would it be another third baseman, or do you think maybe some bullpen help would be more important for this team?
Yeah, if they're looking at this game, they're going to want that bullpen help, and there's certainly a better chance of getting some bullpen help at this point. I mean, you've got Bautista in Baltimore, and they're trading away all their relievers right now. So if you want to enhance that bullpen, you can certainly do that. Off the top of my head, I'm just looking around the league and thinking of third basemen that teams might be selling. And honestly, and this might be a homer take, but the only one I can really think of right now is Yoan Moncada, the Angels, who is on.
It's not a bad idea, though.
He's on an expiring deal. He ripped a 2 RBI double tonight, and so that was impactful. He's had some injury issues, so he's only swinging from the left side right now. But that'll go away eventually. But the fact is I think Suarez obviously top dog, but if the Reds want to take the easier route, I think they have to go bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. Somebody will get Geno, and then there's going to be like 5 other teams that are going to be all upset and have to go to do something else. So,
Yeah.
You just want to be prepared for that. But Geno back in a red uniform, I know the folks in Cincinnati would like that. Moving on to the Cubs at the Brewers. Cubs and the Brewers continue their battle for first place in the NL Central. Milwaukee did take game 1 and the lead in the division on Monday. What did they have in store for game 2? Let's hear from Chuck from Locked On Brewers, who is all in on one particular player for the rest of the season.
Did I hear the Brewers are looking for a first baseman? They got themselves a first baseman. His name is Andrew Vaughn. He's been terrific so far. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Vaughn, tonight, 6 RBIs, 3 hits, including a grand slam that broke this thing wide open. Vaughn, they got him from the White Sox. I don't know, lefties, righties. He's my first baseman going forward. Don't need Ryan O'Hearn on this team. Brewers have trashed the Cubs in the first 2 games. The Cubs, the number 1 team in most power rankings. The Brewers have made mincemeat out of them in the first 2 games, and they got their ace Freddie Peralta going on Wednesday afternoon. Side note, Jackson Chourio left this game with a hamstring injury. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Chourio injury, that could be a problem because he's a special talent for them in the outfield. But, I mean, you can't really take much away from what the Brewers have done to Chicago in these first 2 games. 9-3 win. The Brewers take a 2-game lead in the Central. They hold the best record in baseball once again. And not even trade deadline moves. It's some moves that they've already made this season that have made a huge impact. One of those guys is Quinn Priester, right, John?
Yeah, they got him from the Red Sox back in April. Since May 30th, he's been 9-0 with a 2.60 ERA in his last 11 starts. And the Brewers have gone 11-0 in that time. And then
That's good, right? That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. To really pour salt in the wound, he was the Pirates' first-round pick, and they shipped him to the Red Sox for Nick York, who's currently in AAA for them. Listen to this, though, JD. Andrew Vaughn, former number 3 pick overall in 2019 in the draft. With the White Sox this year, he got into 48 games. He hit 189, 218 on base, 314 slugging, 531 OPS. Now with the Brewers, this is a small sample size, of course. 15 games, 375 average, 439 hit on base, 771 slugging, and a 1.209 OPS.
That'll
for
play.
Andrew Vaughn. Yeah, absolutely. Can I point out something too? I know that you were going to ask me. Well, go ahead and ask me about the trades. I want to know what you're going to ask me.
Well, because I'm like, you know how everybody's always nervous to trade with the Tampa Bay Rays because they're like, all right, the Rays are real smart. They're going to try to pull something on us. Are the Brewers the new Rays when it comes to making trades and fleecing other GMs?
They've certainly got their money's worth out of Priester and Andrew Vaughn. But I looked back. Let's look back at the last time the Chicago White Sox were competitive. 2022, right? Andrew Vaughn got into
We're going to do our Wayne's World back in time thing. Okay, here we go.
Andrew Vaughn got into 134 games that season. He hit 271, 321 on base, 429 slugging, 750 OPS, an OPS plus of 111, 17 home runs, 76 RBIs. JD, maybe he just needs to be on a good team. Maybe he just is that kind of guy who needs to be on a competitive team, get used correctly, and contribute to a team that's going somewhere, because since 2022, you see those numbers kind of decline and decline and decline and decline. But back the last time the White Sox were competitive, he was a huge part of that really good team they had going on.
There's something to say about clubhouse culture and just organizational culture. And when you are surrounded by winners, it works, man. Your game usually lifts up and you start playing along with the guys who were in that clubhouse with you. So it doesn't shock me whatsoever. The Brewers, once again, doing some magical things in a season where not a lot of people were giving them much credit and thought they were going to do all that much this year. And once again, thought they were going to take a step back. And here they are dominating once again. Coming up next, we're going to go to Atlanta. They were in Kansas City, and another Brave star goes down with an injury, man. It's been a tough year for these guys. This is MLB Game Night. Today's show being brought to you by Gametime. Now, we've all been there. You log on early. You're waiting forever for concert tickets to go see one of your favorite bands or artists, and they're going on sale only to lose your spot for the show that you've been dying to see. Pretty infuriating. And live music shouldn't be about that. It should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. And that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever before. Prices, they drop as it gets closer to showtime. And you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. And with Gametime, the price you see is going to be the price you pay. No hidden fees. Nothing upsets me more than when you're going through and they're like, by the way, this is like triple the amount that you're looking for. Not with Gametime. Worried about what happens if plans change? Don't be. The Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. So take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. That's LOCKEDONMLB. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. We now go to Kansas City, where the Atlanta Braves were in town to take on the Royals. It's been bad news after bad news after bad news for the Braves all season, and it's coming. And I hate laughing at it because injuries aren't funny, but it's almost comical how many Braves players have been hurt this year.
It's a
and
curse.
Not just small guys, big name people, kind of like the Astros. Astros have been going through it this year. In addition to tonight's 9-6 loss to the Royals, they may have lost Ronald Acuña Jr. for the season. It's a possibility. Achilles soreness, anything with an Achilles, is big, like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And it's something you really don't want to toy around with. So he said after the game that he felt discomfort and in Monday night's game, but he lobbied to play because he felt like he had already missed so much playing time this year. And anybody knows that if you've got like that calf Achilles issue and you keep pushing it, eventually that thing, it pops. You've seen it happen.
There's no reason to put him in this game either. I think that's been the biggest criticism of Brian Snitker that I've seen going around tonight. If he's got soreness in the Achilles and he let them know about it and then they gave him the option, just a bad call, especially in a losing season like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Now on the other side, Kansas City, we got Jack Johnson on how the Royals were able to take game 2 behind another solid start from Seth Lugo.
The Royals bounced back tonight to even up the series at 1 apiece following their 9-6 win over Atlanta. I am the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few takeaways from tonight's game. Well, really, it looked to be one of those games where the Royals get enough runs for Seth Lugo and he just cruises after that. But what a wild 6th inning it was. The Braves get 2 home runs to make it a 4-3 game. And honestly, if it wasn't for a really good pitch by Hunter Harvey, the Braves could have busted that game wide open in the top of the 6th. But in the bottom half of the 6th, the Royals got all of those runs back and then some. A bases-clearing double by Kyle Isbell, an RBI single by Bobby Witt Jr., and then an RBI double by Vinny Pasquantino. But even then, the Royals were not able to pull away completely. It was a save situation for Carlos Estevez in the 9th, but he manages to get it done. Didn't go 1-2-3, did give up 1 base runner, but all that matters is he locked down the save, and the Royals now just 2 games under 500. Not sure who's going to throw tomorrow, but it will be Joey Wentz throwing for the Braves as the Royals will try and go for their 3rd consecutive series win.
Yeah, the Royals took advantage of former Cardinal Eric Fetty in this one, by the way, which was amusing to the Cardinal fans, even though we were getting skunked by the Marlins at the time. People were like, well, look at Fetty. And, the Braves are in desperate situation right now, just trying to find bodies to get them through the rest of the season. So tough go there in Atlanta. Let's go to the Bronx. The Tampa Bay Rays, my American League team, headed to New York. And Tampa actually took game 1 of this series on Monday night, while the Yankees hope to gain some ground on Toronto, who have now lost 3 in a row to the Orioles. So could the Yanks take advantage? Stacy from Locked On Yankees has got the results.
Max Fried lasts 6 2/3 innings, and the Yankees are able to beat the Rays. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and it wasn't a perfect game from Max Fried. He gave up 4 runs, but only 2 of them were earned because, of course, you can't have a Yankee game without an error that allows the other team to score. And that's what happened early in this game. Anthony Volpe was the culprit because he tends to be the culprit most of the time. But the Yankees were able to tie the game on a Cody Bellinger home run, which I willed into existence by saying to the TV, Cody, please hit a home run right now, and he did. So you're welcome, Yankee fans. So the Yankees were able to take advantage of the fact that the Blue Jays were swept in a doubleheader by the Baltimore Orioles. What is happening with the Blue Jays? They've now lost 4 in a row. Can the Yankees take more advantage of it in the next 2 games against the Rays? We'll find out. We'll also have everything you need to know about this game on the next Locked On Yankees.
Now, a name that she mentions in there, Cody Bellinger, hit his 20th home run of the year. Now hitting .322 with 8 bombs in the month of July. Only had 18 all of last year with the Chicago Cubs. John, with all the injuries that the big names, that have fallen in New York this year, how big is this acquisition of Cody Bellinger turned out to be for the Yanks?
You know what? I've always believed in Cody Bellinger when he had that turnaround season with the Cubs 2 years ago, because everything the metrics said about, his chase rate, his swinging on stuff in the zone, being, sacrificing a little bit more power, his 2-strike approach, sacrificing that power and just trying to get on base. Man, I bought in, and he proved it again in Chicago last year. Not to quite the same results as 23, but for the Yankees to go and get him, a huge boon. And, you're never going to replace Juan Soto, but you can certainly do that in the aggregate. And so to lose him, but to add Bellinger just feels like he has always been destined for the Bronx. So good to see him doing what he's been doing this month with those 8 home runs. Just incredible.
Yeah. He's somebody that shines when the spotlight is at its brightest. It doesn't get much brighter than playing at Yankee Stadium. So doing well. Moving on to the Marlins at the Cardinals. Sandy Alcantara is possibly making his last start for the Miami Marlins in this one, taking on his former team in the St. Louis Cardinals, who traded him away a few years back in that Marcelo Zuna deal. Now, Sandy was on his game in this one, which plays, because that's usually what happens to the Cardinals. Whoever used to be on their team, when they play them, they absolutely shove. We got Jeremiah from Locked On Marlins on his start, and another cool moment which happened in this game.
Sandy goes 5 scoreless innings against his former team, and the Marlins shut out the Cardinals 5-0. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast, and a lot to unpack here. First off, this was Sandy Alcantara's last scheduled start before the trade deadline. It was a good one. 5 shutout innings. He has a scoreless streak of 14 innings, so his value is peaking at the right time. Now it's wait and see to see whether or not he gets traded. Certainly an emotional start for him and for the fan base because of everything he's done for the Miami Marlins over the span of his career. Shout out Troy Johnston making his major league debut. He got called up, and in his first ever plate appearance, he rips a base hit to right field, scored a run on Graham Pauley's 2-run blast. Awesome debut for Troy Johnston. Let's go Fish.
Yeah, so we had some family members in the crowd in St. Louis, and one of them was wearing a Mariners jersey. I don't know what the hell was going on there, but he don't play for them. He plays for the Marlins. But it was a cool scene because, after he got the single, he kind of fist pumped while he was going to first base. He's played a long time in the minor leagues, and to finally get a taste of the big leagues, that was really, really cool. And it really started the beginning of the end of this game because, as he mentioned, Paulie ends up taking Sonny Gray yard in that second inning, and the Cardinals, never scored any runs. Sonny Gray, 5 innings in this one, 3 earned, 2 of them in that second inning on the home run. His ERA in 5 starts in July is 7.81. That's no good. Cardinals offense musters just 4 hits. They get shut out for the 11th time this season. And if it was Sandy's last game in Miami, he certainly ended on a good one as the Marlins take this one by a score of 5-0. Nationals at the Astros. Astros snapped the 5-game losing streak against the Nationals on Tuesday night with this 7-4 victory at home. Some big nights from a lot of guys over on the Astros side of things. One of them has a little Seinfeld reference in this one. John, why don't you explain this one to everybody?
Yeah, first of all, Yainer Diaz, Mauricio Dubon, Christian Walker, they get the offense going there. But George Costanza, a.k.a. Jason Alexander, was on the mound for the Astros. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, just 2 earnings, 6 strikeouts. The only earned runs he gave up was a 2-run home run to Luis Garcia Jr. So that was his start on the mound. But on the other side, they might have gotten their last start from Michael Soroka on the Nationals, right, JD?
It's a possibility. We do have Ryan Clary with his thoughts on this game and on Soroka with Locked On Nationals.
Michael Soroka just likely made his last start as a Washington National and looked about as good as he came in. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals, and yes, the Nationals dropped today's game 7-4 against the Astros, but with Soroka's likely last start, you would think he is traded before the deadline. He delivered his shortest start of the season at just 3 1/3 innings pitched. Actually looked pretty good. Miguel Cairo has had that quick trigger pulling out pitchers, so this doesn't really surprise anyone at this point in time. But Soroka, again, shortest start of the season, went out healthy. That is the goal for the Washington Nationals. But furthermore than that, C.J. Abrams going 3 for 4 in tonight's game, 3 stolen bases as well. Unfortunately, James Wood 1 for 5 in tonight's game with 3 strikeouts. The Nationals simply did not get it done long enough. The bullpen came in, Andrew Lara came in and got rocked in the game as well. Unfortunately for the Nationals, you've got some decisions this week, and it's time to trade players.
Yeah, you're not alone in that one. With the Nats, there's a lot of people looking to sell and get some assets here at the trade deadline, which is coming up on Thursday. Let's take you to Cleveland, where they were expected to make some deals, but not great news on Monday when they found out about Emmanuel Clase. He is now suspended at the moment, so you can't trade him. And after that happened, then they blow a game against the Rockies. So it was a bad Monday for the Cleveland Guardians, but they look to fix that on Tuesday behind starter Logan Allen. We've got Justin from Locked On Guardians with the results and looks ahead to the trade deadline for the team.
Second night in a row, the Cleveland Guardians offense hit like they had the confidence of a team playing the Colorado Rockies. This time, the pitching held up its end of the bargain. This is Justin Latta of Locked On Guardians. The Guardians a 10-4 winner over the Colorado Rockies on Tuesday night. A great start from Logan Allen, too. He gets into the 7th inning for them, throws 113 pitches. Super important for the Guardians because it sounds like they might have a chance to have a bullpen game on Wednesday in the finale. 2 home runs from Kyle Manzardo. Every starter in the lineup had a hit. The Guardians scored a run in every inning up until the 7th inning. It was a total team effort. Very good win for the Guardians again, playing like a team that had the confidence that they were playing the Colorado Rockies. But as nice as that win was all around, the trade deadline clock is ticking down. Shane Bieber had a great rehab start in front of many scouts in Double-A Akron. So all eyes are on Bieber. All eyes now, of course, with the Class A situation, are on whether or not Stephen Kwan will get traded. So a lot going on. The Guardians had a good couple of games hitting-wise against the Rockies, but now all eyes are on the trade deadline for them and seeing what happens next. Tune in to Locked On Guardians. We'll have it all covered for you.
That's a name that I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about because he has been injured this year, Shane Bieber. I mean, that could be something that could most certainly scoop you up some a decent return. So coming up, we're going to talk about the Mets and Padres. Mets trying to even things up in San Diego, but they would have to do it without Juan Soto. We'll tell you what happened next on MLB Game Night. Today's show brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. So it's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. So whether you're sinking birdies or you're just making memories with friends, aka you're not very good at golf and you're just out there to have fun, this is a hole-in-one for your energy game for sure. And I actually just played in a tournament like a couple weekends ago with some friends. 18 holes is a long time to be out there swinging the clubs, and 5 Hour Energy Transfusion, it's what gives me the extra boost to stay sharp and energized so I don't wear out by the time we get to the back nine, because that's embarrassing. And the grape ginger lime flavor, it gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without having to chase down the bev cart, which is always nice. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, you can use our promo code, which is Locked On Golf, to receive 20% off your first order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders either. So whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-hour energy shots today. JD and John back with you here on MLB Game Night. Mets at the Padres on paper. Looks like it's going to be a really good battle following an exciting walk-off winner on Monday. They locked horns for game 2. John's karaoke buddy, Sean Manaea, on the hill. I wonder if he listens to the Backstreet Boys when he gets ready.
He gets fired up on I Want It That Way. That's what he does.
And then thinks about you. And he's like, you remember that dude that just rocked out with me?
The long hair?
Yeah, remember that guy? I wonder if he thinks about it once in a while. Either way, he was on the hill for New York against former 6th-round pick from West Virginia, Ryan Burgert. Got Chris from Locked On Mets, the postcast, with his thoughts on Manaea's start this evening and the injury concerns for not one but two of the Mets' big boppers after this one.
The Mets fall to the San Diego Padres by a final score of 7-1, wasting a solid start from Sean Manaea, perhaps his best start since coming back from the injured list. But that is not what everybody is focusing on. It is the left foot of Juan Soto leaving this game after fouling a ball off of that foot. The Mets are just calling it a contusion. X-rays were negative. Soto appears to be positive. Feels like the Mets avoided a worst-case scenario here, but we'll have to keep an eye on it here over the next couple of days. Pete Alonso also at one point looked like he was poking at his knee, pushing his hand. Not sure if both things are bothering him, but the Mets not only lose the game, but have some injury concerns going into August and September. Hopefully the Mets avoided the worst because the Bats are going through it right now, and they are going to need Juan Soto and Pete Alonso to turn things around.
So the Friars blew it open in the 7th inning with a 5-run inning highlighted by Manny Machado's 3-run jack. His 20th of the year. He's having an amazing season. And then you got that bullpen for San Diego, which features 3 All-Stars. They were lights out again. 5 innings, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. What do you think is most impressive about San Diego? Is it the lineup with all those names, or do you think this bullpen is actually the most impressive thing about them?
All of it, JD. I love all of it. But the thing is, the thing is, though, is the bullpen has just been the most consistent part for San Diego because, you know, there's times where the bats are a little bit quiet. You know, Xander's been up and down. He's certainly been better as of late. But the thing is like you can always trust that if you get a lead in a game, you've got those guys in the back of the pen to lock it down. So I think that's the best thing the Padres have going on right now.
And we know how important those bullpens are come playoff time. And right now, the Padres are looking like they're more than headed into a playoff spot for good. It looks like they're going to make this one. Red Sox and Twins, 90-minute rain delay in the 9th inning on Monday, which was crazy. And then the Twins use it and come back and actually win that game. We had no delays in this one. The Red Sox jumped on the Twins early for 4 runs in the 3rd inning, highlighted by a Trevor Story 2-run dinger. He's got 16 now on the year, which is the 3rd most among shortstops, trailing only Francisco Lindor and Ellie De La Cruz. Story only hit 21 combined home runs in his first 3 seasons with Boston, obviously injuries being a part of that. So it's been a really nice bounce-back season for him. He finished the game 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. But despite the win, Gabby from Locked On Red Sox thinks Boston needs to improve this particular area at the trade deadline.
The Red Sox have been playing good baseball as of late, but they really have shown that they could use another bullpen arm at the trade deadline. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, where the Red Sox won 8-5 against the Minnesota Twins tonight, but things got a little interesting in the late innings. Lucas Giolito pitched 6 solid innings, and then Justin Wilson and Jorge Alcala both pitched. Neither of them really were on their A game, and we even go back to last night's game when Jordan Hicks pitched the bottom of the ninth. Guaranteed the circumstance wasn't exactly in his favor, having thrown 25 pitches the night before and having to warm up twice because of the hour-and-a-half rain delay, and then coming into the bottom of the ninth inning. But he gave up a base hit and then hit the next two batters and just did not have his command. So command's been an issue lately for the Red Sox pen. So while they're winning games, they definitely could use another bullpen arm so that they can hopefully replace one of these guys that's been struggling. We'll see what they do at the trade deadline. Tune into Locked On Red Sox Monday through Friday on any podcast platform for more on this team and the trade deadline on Thursday.
Phillies were in Chicago to take on the White Sox. Sox picked up that win on Monday in a surprise victory. Phillies try to get one back behind Jesus Luzardo on the mound and ended up getting the offense they needed to get it done. Here's Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies.
The Phillies bounced back in Chicago. The offense wakes up, and Jesus Luzardo looked pretty darn good. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. And the 6-3 final score, that all goes on the arm of Daniel Robert out of the bullpen. I mean, honestly, this is a pretty darn dominant win by the Philadelphia Phillies, and that's how it should go when you play a team like the Chicago White Sox. You saw a great game out of Brandon Marsh. He made some awesome plays in center, went yard, couple of hits in the game, including that home run. It was a pretty nice performance by him. He's swinging a hot bat. And Kyle Schwarber murdered a baseball again, just put it deep into the right field seats. So the offense got going. It was good. A couple of sac flies. Next thing you know, 6 runs. It's easy like that. And Jesus Luzardo, he struggled at points, but he got through 7 shutout. And some people will say, oh, well, it's the White Sox. I'm going to say, hey, that's a performance to build on. We'll see if he keeps doing it in his next start. But maybe an encouraging sign there from Jesus. And a nice bounce-back win for the Phillies in totality. We'll talk about that and trade deadline news on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Phillies.
Orioles and the Blue Jays played 2 today, John. O's put up double-digit runs for the third time in 4 games in Game 1 with a 16-4 victory. And then they ended up going on and winning the second game by a score of 3-2. But there was an interesting trade that took place between the two teams in between games. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Baltimore got traded their reliever to the Blue Jays between the games. So he actually had to walk over to the other clubhouse from his other one, and then he had to walk past his old teammates out to the bullpen who were like ragging on him and stuff in the outfield. So it was a funny situation, but I'm sure he's feeling good about it because, he's going to be on Toronto now, which is looking like they're going to head to the playoffs this year while Baltimore going in a different direction. But it was Baltimore who ends up winning both games of this one. Rangers at Angels. We had some drama, didn't we, John?
Yeah, bench is cleared, baby. The Rangers reliever Sean Armstrong hit 2 batters in a row, and the 2 batters, Zach Neto and Mike Trout. Don't hit our best players. Come on. If you can't throw high and in, don't try it, especially after you already hit one guy. Don't try it again against Mike Trout. And this was after Neto had already been hit and Luis Rengifo was already hit earlier in the game. So even though that happened, this was a wild one even before that happened. Both teams had just costly errors. Known slugger, Kyle Higashioka, the catcher for the Rangers, hit 2 home runs in this one. He's hit 3 home runs at Angel Stadium in the month of July. Sam Haggerty slipped and fell in left field, and that allowed a run to score. Adolis Garcia, he had an error in right field, but he also robbed Nolan Shonwell of a home run. And here's the crazy thing, JD, 6 hits, 7 walks for the Angels, but the Rangers had 14 hits, but the Angels came away with the 8-5 victory thanks to a Joe Adell triple. He was 2 for 3 on the night. Kenley Jansen gets his 3rd save in 3 nights for his 467th career save. You don't see closers going out 3 days in a row very often, but Kenley Jansen, he's a workhorse, baby. He's a legend. I love that guy.
He's on display, but are they going to trade him now? Now you guys are winning too much, and you might want to hang on to him.
I like winning. I can't help it.
Speaking of winning, the Detroit Tigers had been one of the best teams in baseball all season, hit the skids there for a little bit, but they go on to win their 3rd in a row tonight by stomping the Diamondbacks by a score of 12-2. The Pittsburgh Pirates have now won 7 of their last 8 games with a 3-1 victory over the Giants. Frisco falls to 500. They're 13-23 since making that deal for Rafael Devers, who was hitting just .224 since joining San Francisco. And then our final game of the night, Mariners at the A's. A's took game 2 thanks to a big 3rd inning 3-run home run from my boy Brent Rooker on my fantasy team. And on the Mariners side, though, an acknowledgement for Randy Arozarena, 10th player in MLB history, with 5 consecutive 2020 seasons, stealing his 20th bag in this one, but it wasn't enough as the A's take it 6-1. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of MLB Game Night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night, every game, every night.